You are listening to INTERFORM Podcast with Ro on the radio. You're going to want to hear this.
Welcome to INTERFORM Podcast. It's me, your girl, Ro, on the radio. I always say my guests are special because they are special, but I've got a special guest with me today is Hayley Franklin. Hayley, introduce yourself for people who may be living under a rock because you're literally everywhere and everybody knows you, but let the people know who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I'm happy to be here today. So my name is Hayley Franklin, and I am a serial entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Not a serial killer.
Not a serial killer. But I do really enjoy entrepreneurship. I currently have 2 businesses that I'm a part of right now. I've been in real estate for 4.5 years. I'm a real estate broker with the Sudar Group here in Northwest Arkansas. And I also opened another business earlier this year called Omni Branding Co. So that's been a really fun, exciting, and new and different experience. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to talk about, because the episode is about female entrepreneurship, and I want to talk about some of the challenges that you've experienced and how you've overcame some of those challenges by being a female entrepreneur. I know it's not easy to be an entrepreneur in general, but I think as a woman and as a single mom, it's definitely there's a little more obstacles that are placed in front of you. So I kind of want to start with your journey to be a real estate broker first, and then go on to, what inspired you to start Omni Branding Company.
Sure. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in real estate, and I came from a background where I was always kind of wearing the hat of marketing anyway. So this was an opportunity for me to take charge of my real estate business.
Mm-hmm.
I got to firsthand create something from nothing, essentially. I think that a lot of, my real estate career has been focused on leadership. I did not start out as a broker. Nobody does, but I knew from the moment that I got my license that I was going to go for the extra education and leadership to become an executive broker. So I did my 2-year requirement on the front end, and then I went to get licensed as a broker. And I have now been in the business for 4.5 years. I'm switching gears a little bit because I want to focus on, my new business. Previously, I was at a different brokerage where I was in a position, I was a director of marketing for 3.5 years. I was at that brokerage. So I really got a good understanding of not only the needs of a person in business for marketing, but it gave me front and center insight to the other challenges that we face when trying to market ourselves.
I kind of want to get into, while you're pursuing this career in real estate, how are you balancing that as a mom? Because at the time, so that was, you said 4.5 years ago. How old was your son at that time?
Oh boy. So my son will be 9 next month. So my son was about 5 years old when I started real estate.
That is difficult.
Yes.
So while you're attending trainings and classes, you're having to figure out, what to do with your son as far as like a sitter, or can someone watch him or did you do some of that at home, or how did you?
Luckily, real estate did provide a career for me to be able to, if I needed to bring my son with me, first of all, he's very well behaved, so that does help. But if I needed to take him with me on a showing appointment or even an open house, he's done with me before. That's really never been a problem. I work with people that I feel like I vibe with, and mostly all of my clients would be totally fine with that. So luckily I was able to do that. And then, transitioning into pandemic time, when we had to switch from, our regular jobs during the week. Now we're school teachers. We have our little ones learning from home. So I feel like that was also a pretty big transition. But luckily, again, real estate kind of provided that opportunity for me to be able to be there when I needed to be as a mother. So I feel lucky to have the ability to be so flexible with
That is nice to be flexible. I don't know how real estate works as far as like if I wanted to be a realtor right now, what would I have to do? I don't, by the way, because that is really hard. What would I need to do? I would have to attend classes online or in person or okay.
They do offer them online. They also offer them in person. And I think that real estate, is just like any other business. So your network is your net worth. And if you don't have a large network, it's going to be pretty challenging for you to be able to convert that to business, which can sometimes be discouraging when you're entering a new career field. So I would say, the training and getting, adequately trained and confident in the field is part one. The other part is really focusing more on the relationships, because it's definitely a relationships business.
Nice. So while after 4.5 years, you've been doing real estate 4.5 years. What made you decide to say, I kind of want to open my own business and I want it to be a branding business? Now you mentioned you were basically having to do both anyway. So basically I'm asking, what was the turning point for you during your career in real estate to be like, I want to start my own business?
So I feel like I experienced time and time again working under someone, although I was a contractor and I have an LLC for my real estate business and run it very much like my own business. There's always the time where, you're pursuing someone else's idea and their vision. And you're executing on their vision. So you might get pulled in for your advice, or you might get pulled in for your opinion on something, but you don't always have that full control to have an idea, ideate that, cultivate that, and then go execute it. So I think that, marketing and branding is just a platform for me to be able to do that. Particularly, I really enjoyed my time as a broker, being able to help other agents with their marketing. And one of the big takeaways from that moment was, it's not about money for people to go market themselves, even though it kind of is about money, because if you do market yourself very well, you're going to see a return on the investment. But if you don't make it easy and if you don't make it streamlined, people are not going to do it, period. Even if it means investing on the front end is going to give them a return on the investment on the back end. So knowing that, seeing that, believing that in real estate and carrying that over into Omni Branding Co., I have a different perspective as a value add to bring to this industry.
That makes perfect sense. So as far as starting your journey to female entrepreneurship with Omni, my question is, did you experience some challenges that you kind of noticed as a woman that maybe your male peers or maybe some of the males you worked with at some of your real estate firms, like, did you experience a little bit of difference in treatment, or what were some of the challenges that you faced there? Like if you were a man or like a male realtor, this would happen. If you're a female realtor or female entrepreneur, these are a different set of challenges.
So it was 2018 whenever I got into the business, and I feel like culturally, even just 5 years ago, it was very different. And real estate for a long time has been a male-dominated career. So going into it, I was met several times, mainly by some of my male peers, with less confidence that I was going to actually be successful in what I was going to do. So I just took that as motivation, and to me, that's fuel in the tank. And that outdated mentality is just that, it's outdated. To a rising, tide will lift all sails. I'm of the opinion that, collaborating with someone is going to bring you more than thinking of them as competition. So I feel like, it hasn't completely died out of our industry, but things have gotten a little bit better. I feel like people are understanding that collaboration is a good thing and it's not you against me. So I do tend to connect a little bit more with my female entrepreneurial type peers. My real estate company that I'm at right now, it's a powerhouse full of really strong women. There's some strong men in there as well, but mainly strong women, and that's who I like to surround myself by.
Interesting. So let's talk about Omni Branding Company. How has it been? Where do you see it going? And what are some of your favorite things about owning your own business?
So I think that it's been really hard. First of all, if I'm being honest, it started from an idea and it's kind of evolved. One thing I say all the time to my team is, it's like a ball of clay and we just have to work with it and bring it to life. And that's kind of what we've been doing. I think people probably thought I was crazy going into a business of something that I've never done before. But if you go back to the fundamentals of what it takes to run a very successful business, it's very much, relationship based. That's the constant variable. So whether I'm selling houses or if I'm selling branding products or graphic design products or services, I think that the mission is still the same. We've really just spent this time focusing on relationships and earning our spot in Northwest Arkansas as a trusted, business. And I plan to continue to do that. Luckily, I do feel like we have had a lot of really great support from the community. So we've been able to get our name out there and take part in some events and things like that. So things are definitely on the up and up.
Well, good. What are some things that you want females in your position who want to start their journey to entrepreneurship? Like, what are some things that you want them to understand about how to get there?
I think that it starts with yourself as far as reflecting on who you are. Entrepreneurship is a very vast term. So I think that for anybody to leave their 9-to-5 and go into entrepreneurship, first of all, it's very brave. But to do some soul searching and figure out what aligns best with your personality, the things that you're interested in, I would actually recommend that somebody start there and start with some of the more fundamental things and really do some soul searching on their self to make sure that they're ready for this. It's a great world to be a part of, but it takes a lot of commitment and is very different. And it's something that you truly have to conceptualize and then commit and then execute.
It does sound really scary, right? Like if I decided to leave my job, which I'm not, like chill out. If I decided to leave my job and start my own business, like that's a huge leap. Like you said, that's very brave. But I think what you said has a lot of merit in it. You have to find out what works best with your personality, right? So I am directionally challenged, so I wouldn't own a travel agency. Right. It's a funny example, but at the same time, it's kind of, you have to find something that meshes well with your personality. I think that's really good advice. What are some things that you want people to know about female entrepreneurship that they may not know or understand otherwise? Because I feel like some people think that it's easier to be, a female entrepreneur, like women get what they want. Like all you have to do is, all the misogynistic quotes, like just bat your eyelashes and you get what you want. But I really don't think it works that way.
You're going to come across that. I think that some people do have those outlooks on life and expectations even, and I've personally encountered it. But to show up as a professional, do what you say you're going to do, and continue to be committed to your mission and to focus on relationships would be the surefire way to succeed.
Have you had any challenges with age gaps? Because you are young. So if someone maybe who's a boomer has some needs from your business, whether that be in real estate or with branding, how do you overcome some of the challenges? Because I feel like maybe without them intending to, certain generations may look at you and see you as being super young and try to maybe push you in a different direction, or maybe not have the respect they should have when coming to you for branding services. So have you ever encountered any of those challenges, like with a different generation?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm almost 30, so that feels amazing that I'm still being able to have this conversation right now.
Girl, yes. You already know how old I am.
Yeah. I'll be 30 next month. But so I would say, I started as a manager at 21 years old. I'm 29 right now. And that really prepped me for being in the position to take no crap. You have to show up. And if you're no
matter the age.
Yeah, if you're much younger than your peers, and I'm talking, there was probably at least a 10-year age gap between me and my closest colleague in age whenever I was in that position. So I had to learn really quickly. I had to show up professionally. I had to do what I, said I was going to do. I had to set examples for when rules were not followed. So being conditioned over time, I think will help, but people also can tell when you're confident and competent at the same time. And I think that I personally feel like I'm getting better and better about when people are just running game. So I keep that in mind, how I would like to be sold to or provided value to. I tend to flip that around on the person I'm speaking with. But I don't see that as much of a challenge right now than I did when I first started. It was especially challenging in real estate. I think that in today's world, in Northwest Arkansas at least, we've got a lot more young blood in the industry. So I think it's less and less. I feel like we are now demonstrating our advantage to our age and what we're conditioned to.
So it sounds like basically if you exude confidence and competence, that pretty much sets the tone, right? So if you act like you don't know what you're talking about at any age, really, that's when the challenges are going to start. So you really have to present yourself in a way that people know that you know what you're talking about. So
Absolutely.
They're not going to be able to slide on in there and be manipulative. That makes total sense.
People are always going to ask questions if they're, People are always going to ask questions whenever they are putting their money on the line, period.
Sure, that makes sense.
I think that just being prepared for what those objections look like is a good starting point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming onto the INTERFORM podcast. Let everybody know where you can be reached, how they can get in touch with you, Omni Branding Company, all that.
Yeah. So first of all, follow us on Instagram at Omni Branding Co. We're also located 1206 Southeast Moberly, Suite 10 over in Bentonville. So come on by. We are open from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
All right. And that is INTERFORM Podcast. I'm Ro on the radio. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. It's interform.art or on Facebook, INTERFORM Fashion. And we have a website, www.interform.art. Thank you so much, Hayley.
Thanks for having me.
You are listening to INTERFORM Podcast with Ro on the radio. You're going to want to hear this.